Good morning and welcome to Leaflet Educational Research made approachable for educators looking to learn more. How are you guys today? I hope you're having a wonderful start to your day, a wonderful start to the week. Today, the article we're looking at is titled Genetics and Education, Recent Developments in the Context of an Ugly History and an Uncertain Future. Genetics research is becoming more prominent and beginning to intersect with education research. While many previous intersections have been harmful, the current era of genetic research provides novel features and possibilities. Collaboration between those in the social and biomedical sciences could be the key to regulations and research designs that emphasize equity. This study comes from researchers who disagree about the promises and pitfalls of the involvement of genetics research in education research, with the goal of building a productive dialogue on the topic. These researchers do agree, however, that more in the education research community should be aware of the history and current realities and potential of genetics research, especially with regard to molecular genetic data. Now, we're going to take a look at the history of genetic research in the U.S. and around the world because that's what they do in the study. And I think it provides some helpful context, so I'm glad they did that. The 19th and 20th century were surrounded by eugenic and essentialist discourses, resulting in the equating of phenotypes with genotypes and focusing on arguments for the inherent superiority of certain groups of people over others. Scholarship in recent years has been bold, using small quantities of molecular genetic data to advance claims without backing them up sufficiently, according to one of the researchers on this project. We can begin by addressing studies of heritability. Genes account for roughly half the variation among individuals. Heritability may be closely linked to environment as well, and heritability studies say little about the educational environments of individuals. Virtually no relevant information on the efficacy and efficiency of interventions is produced by categorizing traits as inherited genetically or environmentally. So the conversation is not unimportant, but perhaps irrelevant to a discussion of how genetic research can inform a pedagogical approach. During the candidate gene era from the 1990s and into the 21st century, scientists relied on samples of a few hundred participants to draw pretty large conclusions. Connecting the gathered genetic data to exhibited traits often failed replication tests. But today, methods for processing large amounts of genetic data have improved, and the cost of DNA sequencing is rapidly decreasing. Advocates for involvement of genetic research and education policy often discuss personalized education, viewing this incorporation as a way to optimize the educational process for individual students. For example, polygenic scores are beginning to have powerful predictive power on par with studies of parental education and individual cognition. These scores can be used to explain why seemingly similar individuals respond differently to certain educational interventions. Genetic data could better enable schools to appropriately provide educational support services for students with certain learning disabilities. Researchers suggest two primary concerns regarding the incorporation of current genetics research into education research. Deterministic interpretations of genetics research into human behavior have arisen consistently in the past. Socioeconomic gaps in genetic risk could make it increasingly difficult for public education systems to equalize opportunity for students across the board. But with these concerns in mind, researchers suggest refraining from overly broad claims and encouraging adversarial collaboration, like this study itself. In conclusion, they advocate for open conversation among policymakers, educators, and researchers, as well as regulation to protect privacy and equal treatment in an educational context. I would love to know what you guys think about this topic. I think it will become increasingly important in the next several years, and will I have a feeling that it will have an influence, a significant influence on the way we handle education in America. I think that we've moved towards personalized, individualized education in the classroom anyways, and this is just kind of a logical next step, or perhaps a firmer backing for that. So I would love to know what you guys think. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below. If not, hey, look at you. You probably subscribe to the podcast or something. That's awesome. Thank you. Hope you have a wonderful day and never stop learning.